Alright, in this video I'm going to go over how to publish your form and also how to link it inside navigation or on a page. And if this looks much different than the previous videos, it's because this is a actual redo. I noticed there were some things I left out, and so I'm redoing this video at a future time. And so I have this is a standard test form here with a single question on it. Nothing too fancy about it. Let's just say you have your form all created and ready to go, ready to be published live, and then ready for people to start filling out over on your website. So to publish this, we're just going to hit Publish Now on the left-hand side there. Very simple thing to do to publish it. And to get this actually in our navigation or on an actual page, we're going to hit this Preview or Share button. And when we do this, we get this little window up here to appear. And in this window, we have sharing options up at the top there. All right, so there's two fields here. One is this send this form to a friend, and this is basically just the link to this form. If I were to copy and paste this into a new tab or new window, I would actually just see the form as it is right down here. The other option is this embed this form on an external site. And this is going to be how we're going to actually place this onto onto a separate page. Well, there's different options we can do. There's multiple ways we can do this. I'm going to show you how to link this first. And to do that, I'm going to take this whole thing and copy this and then exit out of that. And then I'll just duplicate. I want to keep this tab open just in case I might need it for this preview or share again. But to link this in navigation, I'm going to open up the navigation editor by going to Site Settings and Navigation Editor. And I'm just going to drag over a link to file or URL. Let me zoom in a bit here. Link to file or URL and drop this right there. And I'll just call this test form. And I'm just going to paste this, the URL that I copied from that send this form to a friend. All right. So this is fine how it is. The only problem that I see with this is that this is a direct link. Um, if that doesn't make sense to you, please watch the direct versus relative links in the site cleanup section of the help module. It talks about how we can actually clean up our website by removing some of this link here so that it's a relative link. Relative links are very important for keeping data and sessions intact. And it's very simple to actually do, but it's really confusing in what it actually does. So I'm just going to set this as relative just by removing this alexdev.cyberschool.com. And so all I really need is everything after that .com, the / Ajax forms, and so on and so forth. Again, this is setting it as relative. Please watch the video to learn more about that. It's very important that we do that across our entire website. So I'm just going to click on Save there, and then Save here. Let me zoom back out again. All right. Now I have my test form here, and I'm just going to go ahead and hold down Control and click that so that opens up in a new tab. And there we go. So even though I linked all of this nonsense on the end here, it's still keeping me on the alexdev.com, hence the term relative. It's relative to the domain that I'm currently on. All right, great. So that's how we're going to link in navigation. Again, I went to preview and share, sharing options, and I just took this, send this link to a friend. We can also do this in content. So let me go ahead and close this down. And so I'm going to go to the home page, and I'm just going to take a text box here. This was from a previous video, but I'm just going to create a standard link here. And for display text, I'll say link to test form. And the URL, I'm just going to paste that right there. And again, I want this to be relative, so I'm just going to remove everything right before this first / the / Ajax there. So let's go ahead and click OK, save, and then hold down Control and click that, and it's the exact same thing. Okay, so that's how we're going to link this in a link or a navigation or anything like that. But let's say I wanted to actually show this form. That's not difficult at all. So there are two options there. I can go ahead and preview or share, sharing options, and take this whole iframe. I'll show you that really quickly. Let me go ahead and exit out of this now. And in this text box, I'm going to hit source, and I'm just going to paste this right here. If you're not familiar with what source is, I believe I have a video going over what it does exactly. Basically, we're able to place any HTML or CSS tags into this source here. This is the HTML and CSS representation of my actual content. So if I have some images, you might see some image tags here, so on and so forth. But I'm going to click source one more time to go back to the front. And now I have a little iframe here. Emphasis on the little there. So let me double click that. And we see that the URL is actually filled in with this alexdev.cyberschool.com and so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and increase the width of this 100% by say 600. And let's enable scroll bars and give this a title for ADA compliance. I'll just say test form. Enable scroll bars basically is going to allow me to, if this 600 isn't tall enough, it's going to allow me to scroll through the rest of this form. I'll show you it without the scroll bars first, and then we'll go from there. Let's see. So without scroll bars, it's covering the entire form, and that's fine. Let's see if we can actually reduce that pretty dramatically so that we have to scroll through it. Alright, so see, I can't really hit the submit button, but if I were to go and enable scroll bars, I can actually scroll through this form. Alright, so scroll bars are very handy, but 600 seems like it's good enough, even too much maybe, so let's try just a standard 400 there. Alright, so that's good enough, and that's actually embedding the form there. Now, we can go ahead and remove this alexdev.cyberschool.com there and just have a relative link here. It works exactly the same, probably even better, in fact. Um, and so, this is how we're actually going to place our form onto our pages and our text boxes using an iframe here. Unfortunately, we don't have a standard like form option to just embed that automatically. It would be nice, but that's something that's not available as of yet. But generally, this is how we're going to get our form placed onto our website.